Abdoulaye Diop, Foreign Affairs Minister of Mali, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
What is the bilateral relations between Turkey and Mali?
Mali has been enjoying a very good and productive relationship with Turkey in many areas, air transportation, health, but also infrastructure development, trade in many goods. The import from Turkey to Mali has been significantly increased, and we have many business people between the two countries. Still keeping the discussion, we have also established a joint economic and trade commission between our two countries. Recently, we have seen also significant increase in the purchasing of military equipment with high technology in Mali, and we do hope that going forward, these economic ties between Turkey and Mali will continue to grow to the benefit of our two people and our two countries.
The volume of exchange we touch on the key areas that Turkey and Mali has had.
Well, I think it's significant. As I said, of course, we import more from Turkey than we are able to export. We think Mali today is the perspective of the government is to have investment for structural transformation in our country, in the mining sector, but also in the agro-industry sector. Mali is one of the biggest producers of cotton, for instance. If we are able with the partnership with some Turkish companies, at least to process 30, 40, 50%, it will create more job, more economic opportunity for our country. So we want going forward that a partnership could help also to industrialize Mali, to also decrease the dependency on foreign imported goods.
My question is the return of coups in many African countries source of big concern? And if so, when is the right time to do prevention?
What we could say is, let us not focus only on the coups that are occurring in many countries, and to look at instead what have been the causes to be able to prevent those ones. In many of our countries, like in Burkina, in Mali, in Niger, the main focus has been the expansion of insecurity, terrorism, and the inability of the political leaders to provide security to our people, and the frustration that came with that, linked to bad governance. This has really pushed young people in many of our countries to be dissatisfied with the way the country has been run, and the leaders of this political change are seen today also as beacon of hope in many countries, because in Mali, for instance, or in Burkina and else, we have tackled quite seriously the issue of terrorism, the issue of insecurity. We have decided that the security in our country should be put in the hands of Malians. For the past 10 years, the security investment has been led by external forces. Even the way our army engaged against the terrorists was defined by those external partners. And many of those partners also have their hands in supporting terrorism. And some of our neighboring countries also are involved in that. So for us to be able to respond, we have to make sure that we also tackle the cause of that insecurity of our country. And we know also even this terrorism is mostly a political instrument in the hands of some superpowers or some regional powers to try to change the political dynamics in our country. Now, what to do to prevent? The best way, of course, is to promote good governance, including the economic governance in our country, fighting including corruption, making sure that we change also the paradigm, and to make sure that our countries are in driving seat, that security in our country should be in our hands, that we need to make human, material, and financial commitments to make sure that we can secure our country. Only that what is different today is that things are not coming in the sequential way for our country to say, let us fix the security and then we do the others. Unfortunately, we have to address the security and at the same time create economic opportunities, develop our country, change our countries to be able also to absorb this unemployment.
One way of preventing a coup from happening is as a way of the country ensuring that there's good governance. And there is a concern, not just by leaders of the African continent, but the world at large. When will Mali go for a general election?
Election cannot just be a destination. A transition is a process. And the process is, we need to look from the cause of where we get there. It's not just to set a date to go for elections. As I explained to you, the insecurity has been the root cause. For many years, we didn't control 40 to 50% of our territory. People are displaced. They cannot harvest. They cannot do the economic activities. So the first point before talking election is to make sure that you provide security, stability. You make sure that there is a provision of basic social services. It means that the judges, the teachers, and the other civil servants are back to serve the people. That internally displaced people are back to their homes. That they are supported to resume normal economic activities. And at the same time also, we are conducting some key political institutional reforms. In Mali, for instance, we were able to adopt a new constitution, which has not been the case for the past 30 years. It's a big improvement, but it's a process, as I said. The government have set aside in the budget of 2025 resources to fund the election. We have established an independent body to organize the election. One of the key reasons why we had these changes of government in Mali was also because of contested election. So I have to say, setting the date for election should be guided by reality on the ground.
And as we speak, some of the European leaders were of the thought Mali has been making political losses. What is your thought?
What is political losses?
Some of the sanctions that were put in place in affecting Mali, we have the AU that has put in place sanctions on Mali. But your thought, I would like to know your thought on that, and what are some of the achievements of the current regime that have been made since the leader took power?
Let's say, by principle, Mali is opposed to the policy of sanctions, because we don't think if the sanction is not done in the most intelligent manner, we think sometimes it becomes even counterproductive to have a sanction. Mali has been, the ECOWAS imposed sanction on Mali over 8 months. Our banks are closed, our borders are closed, but our country survived. We had the resilient people, we found a way to move forward. But if you say one of the main achievements is for 10 years, Mali has international assistance from the UN, from the French troops, Germans, all over the places. French have invested more than 2 million euro per day in their own forces. UN has been spending 1.3 billion US dollars. But over 10 years, the result is that they came to help us to address insecurity in a localized place in Mali. 10 years down the road, the insecurity was widespread. Today, thanks to the commitment of the government, we have designed a new paradigm for our own security, putting the security of Mali in the hands of Malian army, Malian people, using Malian resources to address the insecurity, and they engage and equip our army, which was so because of all this, today Mali has regained the entire control of its territory, which was not the case. Kidal, which was an emblematic place in the northern part of the country, the government has not been there for 10 years. We are there today. And also, if you look at on the economic front, you have seen on the media that Mali is renegotiating most of the economic contract with mining company. This came out of a law which has been established for the mining to say we want to have 30% of local contents. It means that for the mining deals, we want Malian government, Malian company to have an important share, and that there should be transformations of that. So there have been many areas where we have those changes that occur. And today, we have taken control of our country. We proudly are responsible for the development of our country. We are not depending on Paris or Washington to make our decision and to think for ourselves. I think this regaining of even our dignity and ability to act for our country is a significant step for Africa.
All right, Abdoulaye Diop, Foreign Affairs Minister of Mali. Thank you for talking to us
Thank you
here on
so much,
TRT
Brenda.
One-on-One.